Hi, I'm Jennifer of Celtic Knot Crochet, and today in this video I'll be showing you how to do a variety of steps that are in the Celtic Heart Pillow. First, I'm going to show you a few stitches that are in the cords that make up the pillow. Then I'm going to show you all you need to weave the Celtic knot, all of those various supplies. Next, I'll show you how to put the diagram together because it's a large diagram and you'll need to piece it together with some tape. And then I'll show you how to weave the knot. So let's get started. There are just a few basic stitches in this project. Thank you for purchasing the pattern. If you haven't purchased it yet, you can find it in my Etsy shop at Celtic Knot Crochet. The cord you will make out of an extended half double crochet stitch. So I'll show you right here. This here is a few regular half doubles which make up the pillow. So if you yarn over, put your hook into the stitch, then yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's a regular half double crochet. But for the cord, you'll be doing an extended half double crochet. So you'll yarn over, put your hook in to the stitch, and we're working in the back bar of the chain. Then yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook. Now you're going to do an extra step. Yarn over, pull through just the first loop only, still 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And if you can see here, that makes it just a little bit taller. So I'll do that one more time. Yarn over, put your hook into the next stitch or the back bar of the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1 loop only, then yarn over, pull through all 3. So that's called an extended half double crochet. You also will need to know how to do an extended half double crochet 2 together. Whew, that's a mouthful. So let me show you how to do that. Yarn over, put your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through 1. And that's the first half. Then we're going to do that again in the next chain. Yarn over, hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through 1 only. Now we have 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. And now 2 stitches have become 1. You can see the 1 double loops on top. I'll show you how to do that one more time. Yarn over, hook in, yarn over, pull through the chain, then yarn over, pull through 1 loop only. Do that again. Yarn over, hook into the next chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through the first loop only. 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 5, and there you go. Now to get all the details for how long to make these cords and when you're going to have these decreased stitches and when you're going to have increased stitches like here, you'll need to refer to the pattern. So you'd have some help stitching the cords. I thought I would add them to this knot weaving video. Let's get on to the knot weaving supplies. To weave the Celtic knot, you'll of course need the 3 cords according to the pattern. You'll need some straight sewing pins, maybe 30 to 40. You'll need to print out the 3 pages of the knot diagram. And then you'll also need a piece of cork board or foam core board that's a 1/4 of an inch thick. I also like to use a 1/2 inch thick piece of styrofoam to go under it so when the pins poke through they don't damage my surface, but you can do it with just the cork board. Before we can start weaving though, we need to take this large diagram and do some cutting and taping so that it matches up to what is in the picture of the completed project. Since we can only have 8.5 by 11 printed out by your computer, I've come up with a way to create this with 3 pieces of paper. So I'll show you what to do first. There are 3 pages to the knot diagram, and they are labeled 1, 2, and 3. You will see that number 1 will be the one that you lay down first, and then we're going to layer number 2 on top, and then we'll put 3 along the bottom. So the first step is you're going to cut along the diagram where the picture ends on piece number 2. Like so. And then for piece 3, you're going to do the same thing. So you'll see when you print it out, it goes to about 1/4 of an inch, a little bit more than that. And we just want to get rid of that excess so it's easier to see how it lines up. Now you can do this step on a window with the sun shining behind it. Works great, or if you have a light box. So I'm going to do it with a light box. Turn it on. This way I can see through and I know how to line it up. And I'm going to match up this gray heart with this gray heart. And I'm going to match up the lines that are coming down here like this white path of the knot. And it doesn't have to be exact, but you can see now how they match up, and now it looks like one big diagram. And then just using tape, I'll tape side 2 and side 1 together. Now I'm going to slide the paper up. And you can see how right here you can see a slight line of where all the coloring stops. So that is where I'm going to line up this piece of paper, but I can also match up these 2 green squares. There's one here and there's one here below, and they will be overlapping. And I can also see how these paths line up with each other, like so. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you do the chords according to the pattern, they'll fall right into place and they'll look better than my crude drawing of a diagram here. But this is just to help you weave it so you can have a pretty heart on your pillow too. So now you can see that we put the 3 pieces all together. Now normally I would weave the knot this way, but this is a 12 by 12 piece of cork board, and you could use something bigger, but for the purposes of this video I'm going to keep it smaller, but I'm going to rotate it so it's diagonal, and then I can fit most of the diagram right like so on the cork board. And then I'll use a few pins to pin it in place. And I'm almost ready to start weaving. Alright, so on this diagram you'll see that there is a red asterisk with an arrow, and this is for chord A. So chord A loops around through the middle, and it will have its beginning here, and then the end of the chord will come up to right here. Then chord B is the green path, and this should be all colored in. And it follows along. You might want to do this with your hand. It helps you learn the path of the knot and helps you weave it better. So chord B starts at the green square with the arrow pointing this way. So you'll want to weave in this direction and you'll go all the way around, and then the end of the chord will meet up right here. And then chord C, you could see it's labeled here, chord C, and the white path starts with the black circle. You'll start the end of the chord right here and follow the direction of the arrow, and you go all the way down to the point down here at the bottom and all the way back up and around, and the end of the chord will meet up with the beginning of the chord. And then all three of them put together make up this woven heart. And when they're all in the same color, you don't notice all three chords. It just looks like one fancy chord woven intricately together. Now what I did, since these chords can look very similar to each other, it's the same stitch, same colored yarn. When I was finished with each one, I labeled them just with a scrap piece of paper or note card and a safety pin. And that way I remember this is chord A, B, and C. And I'm going to start with chord A. I'm going to remove my label, set that aside, and this is the beginning of the chord, and this is where I did the edging along just the outer edge of the chord. And I'm going to pin it right at that asterisk. And I'm going to go in the direction of the arrow. Chord A is the easiest chord to weave. And the end of the chord will meet up with the beginning, just like so. And if you have a little extra room, you can either overlap the beginning and the end a little bit, or you can adjust the chord so it's spread out evenly around the path. Like so. So there I have chord A completed. Next I have chord B. Same thing. Followed the instructions, and I'm going to start right at the beginning of the chord. This is where I chained a big long chain, and then I worked into the fourth chain from the hook. So this is where I began the chord, and then here is where I began the edging. And I'm going to place it on the green square and hold it in place with a pin. Now I am going to start working around chord A. So this is where the diagram is really helpful. I can peek underneath and I see that the green chord is going to go over the red chord. So I'm just going to follow along like so, pinning as I go. When I get to here, because there's a join here, I know that I'm going to be going over this area. I can bring it closer to see. But I could also peek at the diagram and see that the green chord is going over the red chord. And I should be able to just pop it right over the top of one of those pins. And the green chord comes around that way, and now I peek here and it's going to go under the red cord. So first I want to pin that bend. I always like to pin the curves, and I'll take the end of the cord and pull it through. Make sure it doesn't twist. Untwist it if it twists. And now I'll continue down through this way, following the green cord. When I come up to this one, I'm going to go under again. And then when I come back to right here where I started, I know that I'm going to go over it, but I can see the green is passing over the green. Take that pin out and reuse it. And then I follow around this way. Again, I'll use the pin to hold it in place down here. Now I'm coming up on this part of the cord, but it's not here yet, so I just keep on trucking. Now when I come to chord A, I can see I'm going to go over the red cord, and I'm going to continue this way, and I'm going to go over again. So that's really easy because I just lay the cord on top, pin again, and now it's going to turn this way, following that green cord. Can you see it? So following the green, and now I peek and I see the green is going to go under the red. So I pick up the end of the cord and go under right here. Make sure it doesn't twist. Grab another pin to hold that bend in place. Then I look here and I go under again. And now I'm coming up on near the end of the green chord B, and I peek under, and I'm going to go over this part right here. And I go across, and this is right where I began, and the end of my cord should match up, and it does. And I tuck it under there. These yarn tails I want to use later because I'm going to sew the cord ends together using those yarn tails. So I get to sew them together and weave them in at the same time, so it saves time. Pin that in place. So now I have chord A and chord B woven together. All that's left is chord C. So let's get that out. Here we have chord C, and I will take out my label. And again, you can see here's the beginning of the chord, and the edging is just on one side of the cord, which will be the outer edge of this cord. This cord here, sometimes it's on the inner edge, but that's okay. And we're going to start chord C right here at the black circle. Pin that in place, and I follow the arrow you can see right here. There's the arrow. Follow that arrow around, past the gray heart that's at the center. Now when I come here to this part, I see that it crosses under. Take the end of the cord and go under like so. And then I come to this cord and I peek under, and it says I'm going to go under again. And while I'm there, before I pull it through, I'm going to check here. So I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to go under here. So I went under, over, and now under. And I'll pull it through. Sometimes it gets caught on my pins. Make sure it's not twisted. And here my point that I created in the cord, according to the pattern, lines up with the point in the diagram. And now I'm going to head back up this way. Back up this way. Peek at the diagram, and I'm going to go over. So then I know, because this is ending here, a lot of these are going to be over under. So now I have over, under, and then over. Almost finished. Then I follow along, and now that I've gotten to here, I peek again, and I'm going to go over and then under. And I continue following the white path, and then I peek, and I'm going to go over this. And now that I'm at this home stretch here, I'm almost at the end. I know that because it's a true Celtic knot, it's going to alternate over, under, over, under, over, under, over, and then end with an under. So I don't need to even peek at the diagram. So I'll pin that bend right there. And if you would like to do this before you weave it, you can just see how well your cord matches. And I see mine's going a little long, so I can not pull it so tight. And I can make this bend a little bit looser. And there, that adjusts it. So that's a little technique for you when you're working on this. You can lay that last leg down before you weave it, just so it's easier to adjust and it comes out the right length. So over, under, over, under, over, under, over, and then I end here with an under to hide that end underneath the other cord. And now it'll look like it was all one long cord. And it can be our secret that it's actually 3 different cords. And there you have it. The Celtic knot in the Celtic Heart Pillow. So what I would do from here is I would use these yarn tails to sew these cord ends together. Right here, I'd sew them together, and then that will hold the knot in place. And then I would take the pins out and pin the crossings like this, so the spacing doesn't shift. And I would remove this and then sew it to my pillow base, and then my project is complete. So I hope this video helped you weave the Celtic heart, and I hope it helped you learn the stitches that are used in this project. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and click to subscribe. And don't forget to watch the next Celtic Knot crochet video. Happy crocheting!